I wanted to make this video to clarify something that if you were raised by a single mother like me, you might be getting wrong. See, I used to think, and you might think this as well, that I lacked certain character traits and experiences because my father wasn't around. But as I got older and I went to university and later on in the workplace, I met a bunch of young men who I knew for a fact had been raised in a nuclear family. Both the mother and father were around, but they lacked some of these traits even more. Maybe they were more socially awkward than I was, having less success with women, or they were just less competent in terms of DIY and fixing cars and all of these traits that and skills that we deem to be masculine and father induced. So I thought, well, that's strange. His father was around, so why is he like this? Eventually it clicked. It's not so much the lack of a father that ruins us, it's the lack of a male role model. So in this video, I'm going to cover why a male role model is so important for a young man's development and how you can go about finding one. Okay, so firstly, why is a male role model so important? I like to think of it from the perspective of a hero dynamic. So growing up, we had our action heroes. We had Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and so on. We were reading the comic books, watching the cartoons, playing the video games. Meanwhile, the girls had their Barbie dolls and the fake babies that they would pretend to feed, and we thought that was weird. So there's a reason why those action heroes are so popular with boys. It's because innately we have this desire to be great, to be exceptional. We want to be that person, the hero that saves someone from a burning building and to get the respect of our community and the admiration of other men and women. That's something that's subconsciously in us, and we start to become more aware of it as we grow older. It's something that Warren Farrell, the author of a really good book, The Boy Crisis, which I'm reading right now, coins as a social bribe. So social bribes are effectively the rewards that we as men get for doing something outstanding, like going to war or being the breadwinner or rescuing someone, being that hero. And it's a very strong force that pushes us to be better. And it's an integral part of our development as men, having that. So if there is a male role model like that in your life, you'll be tempted to emulate him. Ideally, that would be your father because you're a direct product of him. But oftentimes, like I said, you see all these young men with a nuclear family still growing up mentally and physically weak, addicted to porn, video games, and drugs, and lacking the discipline that's required to become that exceptional person. So why is that? Well, many fathers are either away at work all the time or they're losers themselves. How is a boy going to react to seeing his father come home every day from work, sit on the couch and crack open a beer while insulting his mother? What temptation will he have to be that superhero? Chances are he'll be either indifferent to his father or he's going to build up resentment and reject his authority. Research shows that men are just much less receptive to a mother's attempt to discipline them than they are to their fathers. So if the father says the exact same thing as the mother, for example, be in bed by 9 p.m. or do your homework, research has shown that boys are much more likely to listen to the father and grow more disciplined as a result. Okay, so how do you go about finding a role model as a young man? I suggest first looking at your family. So do you have any grandparents or uncles that could guide you? Have you really tried to get to know them? Try and really have a conversation and figure out their background. How did they grow up? What hobbies they have? How do they see XYZ? Ask them for their opinions on different topics, whether that be women, career, family, sports, and try and really understand life from the perspective of a man's lens. Because chances are you've only really seen life from your mother's eyes, and you have this incomplete and distorted view of what life as a man is like. For example, in my case, I got very close with my grandfather on my mom's side, and he's taught me quite a few practical skills in terms of DIY and fixing things around the house. And now I'm much better at that as a result of speaking with him and having that connection. Other places to find a role model are school or a sports club that you might be attending. Maybe the coach or the teacher there takes a liking to you, sees you working hard, the sport or the subject, and gradually just becomes a mentor. And finally, you have the internet at your disposal, which is by far the biggest resource. You can consume the content of male figures that you admire and respect, and that will shape your mindset and attitude to life. In fact, that's actually how I started on my journey about 5 years ago. I was consuming YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, reading books, and that's been very helpful on my journey. I particularly recommend any type of long form content so that it doesn't ruin your attention span. Now, one word of warning on this. No matter what content you consume, whether it's about masculinity or something else, you always want to apply your own mental filter to it because nobody's perfect, and you'd be much better off extracting only the good parts of what someone is saying instead of absorbing everything and trying to be like them. Remember, the goal here is to not become a copycat of someone, whether that's Andrew Tate or someone else you might be following on the internet, but to assimilate a range of perspectives from all these men that you respect and become your own person so that you have this unique combination of traits that you develop along with your own personality mixed in, and you just become your own man. I think that's much more authentic and much more productive. I hope you find this video useful, and if you can relate to anything I've said, then tell me your story in the comments. You can also join our Skool community or our free Discord server. Use the links in the description, as well as booking a one-to-one coaching call with me where we can discuss and make an action plan for anything related to being raised by a single mother. I'll see you in the next video.